One of the ways to increase community health in Wyandotte County focuses on bikeability. KCK and KCMO have made efforts in the recent past to increase bike paths and to connect the two cities. However, that connection remains weak for a number of reasons. The two cities are disconnected by a historical industrial belt along the Kansas and Missouri rivers, with the West Bottoms area receiving more and more economic growth and interest, and with the development of Caw Point Park along the levee trails. The gap between the two cities is shrinking and creating unique opportunities for collective growth. Focusing on the connection between the two cities, there exists a pedestrian bridge which crosses the Kansas River beneath I-70 to bring the Riverfront Heritage Trail to Kansas City, Kansas. Biking toward Kansas City, Missouri, the trail legibly continues. However, biking into Kansas City, Kansas, the path of the biker or pedestrian is immediately lost. We will focus on this section of Kansas City, Kansas as being the priority for need of bikeability, specifically along 5th Street, as there is potential and desire from the two cities for the Riverfront Heritage Trail to connect to the Jersey Creek Trail, an area of Kansas City, Kansas that promises much growth in the near future. This route would provide connections with Minnesota Avenue, the downtown street of Kansas City, Kansas, as well. While looking at 5th Street, we can see great potential. The route is close to two schools, Grant Elementary and Sumner Academy. Also, many lots along the west side of 5th, here shown in red, are owned by the land bank or vacant, each full of potential for development. Currently, however, this emptiness contributes to the disconnect of the trail. The root of the disconnection can be summed up in four major problems along 5th Street. Bikers or pedestrians are either unsure where to go or where to be as a response to a lack of signage or wayfinding elements. They are alienated by a lack of programming along the street or the amount of empty lots, and put in danger by heavy traffic who does not give the pedestrian priority in the street. They are also compromised along their journey by poor or dilapidated infrastructure. This presentation will focus on four specific points along the trail which represent accumulations of the stated issues at important moments along the 5th Street connection. If we look at these issues and attempt to solve them, common goals can be found. By pursuing all of these goals in each new project in Kansas City, Kansas, community health and wellness is a sure outcome. We want to encourage safe environments and healthy lifestyles, provide access to amenities such as food and water, promote community partnerships and interactions, create wayfinding devices that connect the city and make it simple for people to navigate, increase sustainable infrastructure that brings a better future for the city, and showcase the beautiful and diverse culture and history of Kansas City, Kansas. The first point of this 5th Street connection we'll look at occurs at the end of Jersey Creek Trail at 5th Street, near a bus stop and one of the 5 newly installed trail stations. As it exists now, there is no clarity for bikers as to whether they should be in the street or on the sidewalk, and no signage to point them toward other bike trails. Also, the empty lots to the right make the path undesirable and potentially unsafe. Some ideas for possible solutions include implementing simple signage to alert pedestrians and bikers of the shared sidewalk, and continuing it along 5th to encourage bikers to keep following the trail, and in turn, bike more. Installing a water fountain as there is a bus stop very near, encouraging community shareholders to utilize the vacant lots to benefit the community. Shown here are an orchard from Giving Grove and a community garden, hypothetically stewarded by Free Wheels for Kids with Javin Martin. Incorporating sustainable infrastructure like bioswales between the street and sidewalk, which helps separate the fast-moving traffic from the people on the sidewalk. All of these options increase the safety of the area by activating it and encouraging community members to come out and enjoy the trail and each other. The second point occurs at 5th Street and Minnesota Avenue, which leads directly west to downtown Kansas City, Kansas, an important economic connection for the city. Currently, pedestrians and bikers are incredibly alienated by a lack of priority at the intersection. The crosswalk is confusing and the sidewalk across Minnesota narrows significantly, making sharing the sidewalk dangerous, especially with no buffer between it and the street. To improve these issues, a continuation of the same simple signage could alert people again of the shared sidewalk condition and encourage bikers to use this route. Bioswales could be implemented along the sidewalk again to help with watershed, and the sidewalk could expand to allow for bikers and pedestrians to comfortably share the space. Signage could be installed noting the Riverfront Heritage Trail connection. By activating the crosswalk with bright colors or possibly a mural, cars will be more alert and the safety of the pedestrian will increase. At the third point, the intersection of South 3rd Street and Armstrong near the newly paved trailhead of Riverfront Heritage Trail, heavy traffic from the highway caused this part of the road to be torn up. Javin Martin of Free Wheels for Kids expressed special concern taking kids through this intersection, often having to wait when kids fall off of their bikes because the road is so bumpy. Because the crosswalk happens behind the stop sign, cars do not automatically stop for pedestrians. No crosswalk sign currently exists, and pedestrians have to stop before the cars. Also, this intersection leads directly to Call Point Park, but only one small sign exists to alert bikers of this recently installed sidewalk connection. To address these issues and pursue our goals, the same bike path signs could be implemented, again using bioswales for sustainable infrastructure. Signage pointing toward Caw Point, Jersey Creek, and downtown Kansas City, Kansas will bring bikers coming from Kansas City, Missouri into the city in many directions. An elevated crosswalk and crosswalk signs will give pedestrians and bikers priority in the intersection, and the durability of such a crosswalk would create less maintenance for the city, preventing trucks from tearing up the road by forcing them to drive slower. To bring some life to the area, historical murals might be painted along blank surfaces. At the fourth point, occurring at North 3rd and Armstrong, beneath a confluence of elevated highways, pedestrians and bikers are alienated by the scale of the infrastructure. The space feels unsafe, and it's hard to tell where to go. To activate this area, we can start by providing access to amenities, shown here as edible landscaping potentially stewarded by members of Walk Waiko. This encourages community partnerships in the same way adding another orchard might. To increase physical activity and healthy living, another trail element could be installed here, and the same bike path signs would tie this part of the trail all the way back to Jersey Creek, naturally encouraging travel between the two. Native grasses could help watershed as a form of sustainable infrastructure. Added signage could alert to different routes that this trail can access, such as Caw Point and Riverfront Heritage Trail into Kansas City, Missouri. By introducing playful elements such as a swing, the area feels more kid-friendly and safer. And to showcase the history of KCK and create an opportunity for education, a bright mural could be painted, here representing Ed Dwight, who was born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas. Each of these solutions helps to activate this space and create a desirable destination experience for the community. So, if we want to increase bikeability in Kansas City, Kansas, connecting the existing trails is the first step, and pursuing goals which benefit the community to stabilize this connection along 5th Street will help create a brighter future for Kansas City, Kansas.